right, Luke, we ran out of our campsite earlier this morning at East Harbor Bay State Park. We're going to stay at a hotel tonight because it's supposed to rain all day. Don't know what we'll be able to get to do, but it'll be a challenge to try to find some stuff to shoot in the rain. We do have a break going on right now, though. How did we luck out on that? Because the forecast said it was supposed to rain all day. It's nice when it gets we get a little lucky, isn't it?
It is.
But one thing that you love to do, especially when it rains, is shoot some flowers close up and get some macro shots. So we're here at this nature preserve, and I'm going to try that now. There's all sorts of different flowers they have growing in here. Now, you love to do macro. You have a dedicated macro lens, don't you?
I do.
I'm not that big time as of yet, but I have an extension tube on here, and those work really well, especially when you do it like this, just as a hobby. So I'll see what I can get. Back up because he's not in focus. The flower bulb is.
So you're photographing a yellow spider right now?
Yes, I'm trying to. The autofocus keeps picking up the flower, and it's not picking up the spider, so I'm gonna have to try to manually adjust it here to get him. There he is. All right, we made it over here to Put-in-Bay, and our first stop is the Perry's International Victory and Peace Center.
And it looks like there's going to be a really spectacular statue in here. I can see its silhouette.
Oh yeah, let's check that out.
Open sesame.
And so I have a brown vest. It's a British gun, obviously. There's a few differences between this musket and our US Springfield right over there. First of the few things is the look. This one's going to be a little bit shorter than that one. If we lift them up over here. You also see some cosmetic differences. Obviously we don't have the barrel bands. I have a little bit more brass than the Springfield. And this was kind of just like because the British liked having good stylized guns, and they wanted to make sure that they were all manufactured the same, they looked the same, so that when we go into battle, it was able to showcase who we are and why we are coming from. The US Springfield, which is this one, is modeled off of the French Charleville, which would be the best, and then the Charleville would have been the two main guns that took place in 1776 in the Revolutionary War, because we were, the US was friends with France, and that's how we got a good primary of the guns. And so they modeled the Springfield off of that when they started manufacturing their own. The big difference is there is a little piece on this lock area that says US Springfield. Also, there's some of the manufacturers that will take this band for the bayonet and flip it on the other side. And those are the two main differences that you'd be able to tell which one was going to be US and which one was going to be French.
Was either one actually more accurate? No, not really. There were no real, as far as its functionality, there's no big difference.
Nope. Both of them are pretty inaccurate compared to what we're working with today. They're musket loaders. They also are flintlock. So we'd have a legitimate rock called a flint that would go in right here, and then this piece is going to be our hammer. It's going to be steel, and so the flint hits the steel, makes a spark, and that's how they go off. So pretty inaccurate, especially with weather, wind, water, any of those types of ideas.
Fire! Misfire. So we talked about the accuracy of these weapons. We didn't really talk about the reliability. These are not the most reliable weapons in the world. About 1 in every 7 trigger pulls is going to result in a misfire.
We're going to take a look at the main memorial here. Look at that.
Took them 3 years to build this. So, took them a long time.
Well, Luke, this was a pleasant surprise for us since we hadn't researched this that extensively. Didn't know there was a viewing area up here atop this. It's really cool, isn't it?
It is really cool. Absolutely spectacular. One of the best views I've ever seen. It's a 365-degree view. You can see all the surrounding islands, as well as every square inch of the island we're currently on. Just gorgeous. Quite the monolith. What's that horrible noise? Oh, they're driving a Jurassic Park car. It must be it's like a siren or something. Wicked cool. Don't give up the ship!
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Am I out of it? Oh, I know.
All right, here at South Bass Island State Park, and this is the iconic location, Luke. Really nice cliff shoreline.
Yeah, it's very pretty. You've got this very nice beach. Very large rocks, though. I mean, it's not really a swimming beach per se, but it's a very nice beach, and your eye really travels along this beautiful beach, and then it kind of ends with the cliffs, and then your eyes follow up the cliffs. So it's a very visually nice beach and cliff area. Here we go. 20 skips.
We're here close to Mallard Lake at Oak Openings Preserve near Toledo. This is near a center that they have, and this is one of several wildlife observation areas, I take it, in the Toledo Metropark system. We're trying to see if we can get a photo of something here with only 70 to 200 lenses on us. This is probably about as close as we can get to something, but we've already seen a lot of stuff.
We've already seen several ruby-throated hummingbirds, several chipmunks, and some other kind of a gray, blue-gray, small blue-gray bird with a little bit of a crest on its head. Couple of woodpeckers, and a beautiful swallowtail butterfly out front of the center. What did we just see, Bryant?
We saw several swallowtail butterflies. We got really lucky that one came right up to us. A lot of butterflies and bees in here. I'm looking at a bumblebee right now. This is close to a bird watching trail. Very nice, and this is how Oak Openings gets its name. These openings here that just appear out of nowhere after being surrounded by forest. For only having 70 to 200s and having birds basically be out of our capability, we were able to do good with the insects, weren't we?
Yes. I think we have zero chance of getting any real bird photos here unless we want to sit down and wait for a couple hours for them to come up to us, just like this butterfly just came up to us.
Well, that does it for our little taste of Oak Openings Preserve. Really nice, Luke, and tons of backpacking opportunities throughout this park, isn't there?
There is.
You just went down that trail a little bit, and you can really get off the road here. Nice thing, though, is there's bicycle trails through here. Something you can get a benefit of from it being a metro park from Toledo, a city park.
Yeah, it's great. One nice thing is there's not a lot of undergrowth, so you can really see a ways in a lot of these woods. You know, there's some ferns, and that's seems to be about the majority of the undergrowth is a lot of ferns. So you really, you know, while in most woods you try and look into them and it's just a solid mass of green growth, here you actually get to see some distance, so it makes for much prettier views as you're biking or walking through the trails.
One thing you will get here is noise from the Toledo airport, which is close by.
Constant jets going over.
Well, I take that back. One last stop we made here in Oak Openings before we left, a grove of invasive evergreens.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, they're pretty, but that's unfortunate.
I read on a sign that they have here in the forest, these were planted in the 30s because they wanted timber. And now they are at the end of their life cycle, so they're actually cutting some of these down as they die.
Oh.
But it definitely makes for a nice environment for sure, a forest of evergreens. All right, we're here next to the Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge. I'll put the name at the bottom of what this actual park is called, but we're here on a boardwalk now, and we're going to try to see some more wildlife. Already some great wildlife that we saw next door in the actual Ottawa Refuge. We saw a little turtle crossing the road right as we were pulling in. It was a good sign, but tons of egrets, tons of other birds, big birds, tons of herons. Really nice little series of refuges here along Lake Erie, huh?
Yeah, I say this is a must. If you come to Lake Erie, you've got to come here if you like wildlife. The butterflies are incredible, and the wildflowers are spectacular.
Let's see what we can find on the marsh now.
So overgrown, there could be all sorts of things and we would never know in a million years. We can cut this.
Well, this is the one open area where you can actually see out to the marsh, but most of the rest of the boardwalk is overgrown with brush. If you were looking for birding, this is your trail. Tons of trees here, tons of birds running around. If you're looking to see frogs, turtles, anything else that would be in the marsh, your view is pretty much blocked.
I would recommend the drive to this location has tons and tons of beautiful wildflowers in the marsh, and I'd recommend just parking somewhere and walking along the marsh, in between the road and the marsh. Much prettier views, probably get a lot more wildlife.
Over here at East Bay Harbor State Park, this is where we camped. We ran out of it yesterday. We did go back to Toledo and then drove all the way back here today. Didn't have a lot of time here, so just a little taste of everything that we did today, including this park. But we got to see a muskrat, and that was a highlight, and Luke was very happy to come across a tree with a lot of mushrooms growing out of it. We spent some time there shooting it. Happy with those shots?
Yeah, I think beautiful. I mean, I could have shot it for hours.
And we really wanted to come back to get some lotus flowers in bloom. We struck out though because after they were open huge yesterday during a storm in the shade, today in the sunlight not so much. But still a great place, and there is a nice beach here. It looks like they get a ton of people, and there is a lot of hiking, including that one trail we were on that was very remote. So beautiful state park here in Ohio, and a really nice area all the way around here along Lake Erie. Great weekend, wasn't it?
It was, and we also saw a bald eagle.
Yes, we did see a bald eagle. With a 200mm max lens, 70 to 200, you can't quite get a shot of it, but I tried anyway.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It flew alongside us, and then it flew over to a little island and on top of a tree on that island. It was very cool.
Should have brought the 200 to 500, and I saw plenty of people with the super zooms here, and I can tell why people that live around here have the super zooms, because there is ample things to shot. So when you come here, be sure to bring yours.
Yes.